Hey y'all, it's your girl Hope You're Teaching Me Bestie, and I watch good shit. And I just got done watching this week's episode of Lucky. Now this is right before the finale, so the episode was kind of chill until, of course, there was a big cliffhanger. And me, I'm just waiting on what's about to happen. While they're waiting for Detective Rand, John and Lucky are talking about their first cons. So John's was he stole $942 from a tent revival at the age of 8 or 9. And Lucky, she managed to get $220 out of a mall fall at the age of 7. Lucky, she talks deals with Detective Rand when she comes in. And she wants full immunity from all prosecution as well as John's sentence commuted. Detective Rand is like, no deal. That money ain't worth that. Lucky's like, okay, I can give you Priscilla. Gates is like, you can't guarantee that. And he tells them that they have enough charges on them that he can put Lucky away for life. Detective Rand, she's like, yeah, all right, you ain't giving me what I want. She leaves. So Lucky says, wait, okay, what do you want me to do? So Detective Rand says she wants Priscilla, but she also wants Wayne. And she wants Wayne to take possession of the money himself so she could bring him down. Lucky's like, Wayne never shows his face. He always maintains a level of deniability. John and Gates, they leave. And Lucky, she's like, okay, how do I know you're not going to screw me over like you did the last time? Detective Rand says, well, you don't. I was just doing my job then, and if it meant I had to break my promise to a thief, so be it. Agent Peter, he comes in. This is Detective Rand's boss. Why are you trying to undermine me? As she says, look, I got Lucky, John, and $10 million. Plus, I'm about to get Wayne. Agent Peter is like, Lucky cannot give you Wayne. And she says, I think she can. Lucky and John, they're talking. And John's like, okay, if Detective Rand come back in here by herself, we can write our own ticket. If she come in here with Agent Peter, I'm going back to jail. So she come back by herself. She gives Lucky her deal, but she can't commit to John's deal right now. So I'm going to work on it. I'll call some judges. Lucky's like, okay, we'll wait. And Detective Rand says, all right, well, go ahead and set up your meeting with Priscilla. And Lucky says, she don't do business over the phone. She only does business in person. And if I call her up, that'll be an unprecedented ask. I'm not trying to play you. I need this deal to work more than you do. Detective Rand says, okay, I'm going to put y'all up in a hotel. Y'all wait. I'm going to try to find a willing judge to commute John's sentence. Lucky like, okay, I want the deal signed in writing by you and Agent Peter. So John and Lucky, they go to the hotel. John laid back, he ain't been free in 2 years, so he enjoyed it. He taking it all in. Lucky assures him that he's not going back. And she says, I'm ready to be still and settled. So John goes take a shower. He gets out, they're in their robes, they eating dinner, and John congratulates her on a job well done today. That you did a really good job with Detective Rand, and he's proud of her. What's the angle for the money? And she said, there is no angle. This is gonna buy our freedom. And he said, whoa, wait a minute now. This my money. I'm not just gonna give it over to them. Who wanna be free if you broke? And she's like, I do. Please. Do not ruin this for me. This is what you always do ever since I was a kid. And he's like, what you talking about? You had a wonderful childhood. Look at all the experience you got by the time you was 8 years old. No other child had that. And I was with you every single day, all day. What other little girl got that? None of them. And she's like, are you kidding me? I was so scared all the time. I always thought I was going to end up alone. You know how many people hate me? They don't even know me, all because of you. I always have to save you from yourself, just like I did the last time. She confesses that she gave the cops Priscilla and they lied and took him down too. And he's like, you told the cops? So you are the reason I went to jail? You took everything from me. Wow, I cannot believe this. Next day, John and Lucky, they get their deals. They sign off on them. Detective Rand gives Lucky her instructions. Now, she don't like it that the cops are going to be tailgating her, but she goes along with it. So Detective Rand, she sends Lucky off, and she talks to John. She accuses him of putting Lucky back in the game. And he's like, don't act like you care, because you're just using Lucky like you did 2 years ago. Goes on to say that he's sure her kids hate her because she's always chosen work over them. And she said, well, you may be right about my child, and also that I don't really care. But it ain't my kid out there. If something happened to Lucky, This on you. I'ma sleep fine tonight. Lucky meets with Priscilla. They talk. Priscilla tells Lucky she can't run away from herself no matter how much she doesn't like herself. Soon enough, she will be her. I just want my money. And Lucky's like, that's fine. You can have the money. I don't want it. But it's Wayne's money, so I want to give it to him myself. And Priscilla said, you know Wayne don't take meetings. And she's like, he'll take this one. I want to look him in the face, tell him I'm not a loose end, I'm buying my freedom, and I'm out. And Priscilla like, with his money, this ain't gonna work. And she says, okay, well, you can come too. But if Wayne doesn't come, he ain't getting his money, and neither are you. This is non-negotiable. Priscilla, she finally reluctantly agrees. And she says, if Wayne shows up, which is a big if, he definitely is not coming to some agreed upon spot that you already picked out. You got to wait for my call. I'll let you know if he's down with this. Lucky asks Priscilla, how did she find Carrie? And she said, oh, I ain't find him. Wayne found him. Just like he'll find you if you screw him over. Lucky comes back to the police station. She says she thinks Priscilla believed her, but she didn't go along with the set location. So she's going to call and give her a location at a later time. She gets back to the hotel and John's like, did she take the bait? Did she get in your head? And Lucky says, yeah, I think so. She was already in my head. Now, right here, I noticed that John did not say, did Priscilla take the bait? And I'm assuming that's who he meant, but he didn't specifically say that. So I'm still kind of waiting for a little trick. So maybe he was really talking about Detective Rand, because maybe Lucky figured out a way for them to get out this life and keep this money. I wouldn't doubt that her and John have a little sidebar going on. I'm just saying. John tells Lucky that after her mom died, he didn't know what to do. I just taught you how to survive the life you was born into. And it wasn't until way later that he realized he should have been teaching her how to get a better life. So she apologized for all the stuff that she said earlier. And he said, don't apologize. You were right. And he tells her that he likes the parts of her that are like him, but he's really proud of the ways that she's not like him, and that he loves her and he always will. They hug, and then Priscilla calls Lucky with the location, and John goes out. He tells Gates to call Detective Rand. So the next day, Lucky, she gets her recording device, a little button sewn on her shirt. They give her a phone. They want her to get Wayne to take possession of the phone, and when he does, they'll move in because they've loaded the money onto the phone. John, he's like, all right, I'm coming. And Detective Rand said, no. You supposed to be in jail. If they see you, they'll know it's a setup. So John, he's like, can I talk to Lucky by herself? So he tells her to be careful that something happens to Priscilla when she gets around Wayne. Something reminds her of how miserable she is. She ain't right in the head when she get around him. And as dangerous as she already is, being around Wayne makes her even more dangerous. To keep her eyes on Priscilla, because she's the one to watch to know how to read the room. She's on her own out there if things go south, because Detective Rand's people will not be able to get there soon enough because they're at this very secluded location. I'll be here. And she says, I know. Detective Rand and Lucky, they head down to the elevator. Now, before they get in, Detective Rand, she looks at Gates, she gives him a nod, and Gates nods back. And I said, what'd that mean? Gates and John, they playing cards, they talking. Gates says he was in the military before this, but he came home feeling unfulfilled, so he started getting into this business. And John says he never saw himself as a thief. He had a lot of plans, but the world is complicated. So we hear this thud. Gates says, did you hear that? And John said, nope. And I'm like, he definitely heard that. Gates calls the cop that's outside the door. No response. He says, you sit here, John. He goes to check. So here comes a guy around the corner shooting. So Gates takes him out and he starts walking over towards him. As he's walking towards him, somebody comes up from behind, shoots Gates twice, and then aims the gun at his head. I said, damn. Now, John, he's still in the room and he's like, Gates, somebody shoot the lock off the door, kick in the door, and John just stares at him. And the episode ends. Now, we don't see who shot Gates, who blew in this door. I'm thinking Dutch, but who knows? And I'm like, is this somebody John has set up? Is this part of a setup, or is it really he don't know what happened? Because he definitely heard that thud. I don't know what John and Lucky got planned. I don't know what Priscilla and Wayne got planned, but I can't wait for the finale next week. Y'all let me know what you thought of this week's episode. I'm your TV movie bestie. I'm on all the socials. Like, subscribe, and follow, and I will see y'all on the next show on the next episode. Bye, besties.